Hello and welcome to Discovering Grayslake, unveiling the stories and people that make our town so unique. I'm your host, David Wool, and I'm thrilled to bring you this new podcast that explores fascinating stories and experiences of local business owners and community leaders, right here where we call home. Grayslake Rehabilitation Center is a community-based private practice physical therapy provider. Do you know they have 13 clinical providers with various levels of specialties, including orthopedics, sports, neurology, vestibular, geriatrics, pelvic floor, and aquatic? What? Did I just say they have a pool? Well, they do, and it's the largest indoor warm water pool in Lake County, featuring 2 underwater treadmills and swim currents. And recently added clinical treatment specialties, in layman's terms, shockwave. They have both radial and focus units that are the newest tool in regenerative medicine, available to everyone. They pride themselves on the most current and up-to-date specialized care to keep you moving. If you're looking for physical therapy, make sure to see our friends at Grayslake Rehabilitation.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Discovering Grayslake. This morning I'm over here once again at Agora on the corner of Atkinson and Center Street. Big shout out to Luke for letting us record here. We appreciate it. So if you guys are looking for a co-working space to get out of the house for a day, for a week, or even a forever home for your business, it's a great place to have just to move your business if you don't want to be at home all the time. So shout out to Agora. We appreciate them. So this morning I'm with Mr. Jim Marshall. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you, Dave?
I'm good.
Thanks for having me.
Well, it was my pleasure. Jim and I live about 90 feet apart. Is that right?
About, yeah.
Somewhere through there. So, and still hasn't called the cops on me that I know of.
No, but you do have the best yard, what do they call that? Yard art.
Oh, my yard art, yes.
Yes, you have the best yard art in Grayslake, as far as I can see.
It's the first time that Sasquatch has been referred to art,
right.
I think. The neighborhood was pretty happy when I got that, I think, weren't they?
It was very interesting, several conversations, like, what the heck is that? And boom, boom, boom. And the ironic thing about that, a little back history, I don't know if you know it, one of our other neighbors had put up a ice rink on the side of their house.
Yes, I know what we're speaking of.
Yes.
Yeah.
And some other neighbor narked on them to the village, and the village came out and said, blah, XYZ, you can't do what you're trying to do. You have to do this other thing to be compliant.
Right.
And the young mother said, well, what about Sasquatch? And they said, oh, no, we checked in that, totally legal.
Yep.
Mind your own business. Don't worry about other people's business.
Right. Well, it's funny because, it took me about 15 minutes of putting Squatch in the front yard before the village was over.
Oh, I bet they were.
And I had read every ordinance and everything because they said, well, when they came up, he was out taking pictures of it. Mm-hmm. And it actually pissed me off because I was like, hey, can't you just come up to the door and talk to me?
Right.
Why do you got to be sneaky about it?
Right.
Because there's a guy in town that has a 17-foot dinosaur.
Really?
In the front.
Oh,
right
yeah, I know those
Lake
guys.
Street.
Yeah.
Actually, my buddy, I won't leave his name out of it, but we drove by and I said, I gotta go talk to this guy because he's got like a 17-foot metal dinosaur in his front.
Right.
And he goes, oh, I don't know why you'd want to talk to him. He does banjo lessons or something too. And I went, well, what the hell am I doing? We should have been talking to him a long time ago.
Right.
So if you're out there listening and you run a banjo business and have a 19-foot dinosaur in your front yard, you're on.
Let me know, because I gave my daughter a banjo for Christmas back in, she was like in 6th grade, wanted a banjo. I'm like, girlfriend, don't ask for something that you may regret.
Right.
And she has this really super cool banjo. I picked it up at a pawn shop over in Round Lake. It is a nice one. And I think she's played it like 6 or 7 times.
I think that's the first and last time I'll ever hear that statement coming out. And so I got my daughter a banjo.
Right.
That's the way every good story starts.
Absolutely.
Right. And speaking of banjos, I want to talk about what you're involved in, because if anybody knows Jim, if you don't, he's all around town. He's got you have everything. You're involved in everything from all of our reffing to umpiring to all that. We'll cover some of that.
Yep.
But today we want to talk about Grayslake Business Breakfast Group.
Correct.
Yep. Okay, so let's just go to the origination of how does that organization start?
Sure. So this goes all the way back to 1989-ish, 1989, or I suppose 98, 99. Dave Leganger, Bruce Frentz, Leo Delaney, Greg Williams. They were all customers of mine or people I did business with. We just decided, hey, let's get together one morning, one lunch, one evening, a month, but make it regular. okay, and trade business. We got to get to know one another. We got to get to like one another. We got to get to know what I do as a banker, what you do as a CPA, what you do as a printer, what you do as a real estate agent, what you do as a lawyer. Figure out what it is we do and how we can help one another. That was the auspices of that. And then, as I shared Thursday night in our last group meeting, Greg Williams, this is either a good or a bad thing, I don't know. He said, we should organize. And I go, you sound like a union rep right now.
Right.
This is not really what the intended purpose of the group is, but we gave it a shot. So we, interviewed BNI, which is Business Network International, LaTip, Lefevre, I don't know, a bunch of them.
Right.
We ended up landing on BNI. We were a good BNI member. We were technically called the heartbeat of Lake County. I don't want to even, I can't even remember how it worked, but we became the largest BNI in Lake County at the time. So we organized in 2001 and became an official group. And it all kind of started from there. Probably 4 years into that relationship, we left BNI and went back to just being an independent referral group. And that's what we have done ever since.
Wow.
So that's the auspices of it. Right. We have about 28 members right now. We would like to be 35-ish because we have enough categories in our groups. We have some open ones, and we have that availability. I mean, could we do 40? Sure, we could do 40. We could do 45. Do you want to?
Right.
What's it do then to the group?
Are you looking for a great time right in the heart of our awesome community? Well, look no further than the Grayslake Village Center, your one-stop destination for all things fun and fabulous. Picture this: historical downtown vibes with a mix of diverse businesses, an array of unique shops, and delicious restaurants. Many with outdoor seating, with an option to soak up the sun or shade. But that's not all. The Village Center is where the action is. And just like the weather, it's definitely heating up. There are events that take place all year round for the whole family. But now, you'll even have more options. Fill up your calendar with things to do. Also, take a stroll through Central Park, Gelatin Park, surrounding trails, green spaces, and more activities to keep you and your friends and family active all summer long. And now that the weather is warming up, dive into the Aquatic Center. Open Memorial Day to Labor Day. But wait, there is more. Visit GrayslakeVillageCenter.com to discover an incredible lineup of events that are happening every month. Be in the know. Not sure what you're waiting for, so come on down, soak up the local vibes, and enjoy the experience that's unmistakably local and uniquely Grayslake. Grayslake Village Center, where the fun never stops.
And we meet every Tuesday morning at 7:30 upstairs at Whitney Street Restaurant.
Yeah.
So we have a good relationship with Tony and his crew. Natalie is our waitress. I probably shouldn't call her that, but I'm an old guy.
Right.
Use bad terminology someday, socially unacceptable. And we start at 7:30. We're done by 8:30, and we have the room until 9 o'clock. So that's for just more talking and socializing and referring and following up on, hey, I want to talk to Adam Solano over at Lakeside Financial because I've got a couple customers that I am teeing up in my pipeline, and I think they might be good referrals for him.
Gotcha.
And, hey, Adam, these are who these people are. Is this something you want to do or not do? Because is every referral a good referral?
No.
Right.
No, absolutely not.
So there's become a joke in our group, a potentially shitty referral. Jim Marshall gives out a lot of potentially shitty referrals.
I'm not asking for any referrals from you now, for sure.
Right. But if they work, they work. But if they don't work, hey, it's just whatever.
Right. Not all of them work out, though.
Right. Not all referrals work out.
Okay. So first question I have for you, when you said that how many people you have, is it exclusive to one thing? So if I'm a DJ, is it exclusive to one person in that industry, or do you allow more than one?
It used to be that way. We used to have one category and for everything. So I was the banker, and we had a residential mortgage lender who worked for a third-party lender or second-party lender, not a bank. So I didn't care because I don't do residential mortgages, so I don't care.
Right.
We have opened that up, so we have a full membership which full membership would be $125 a quarter. That includes breakfast and the rent we pay for the room. And then that's it. You come to meetings.
So that's the commitment.
You put your show on.
$125 a quarter.
Yeah.
And
right.
$125 a quarter and come every Tuesday.
Yeah. We would like our members to at least come to 50% of the meetings annually.
Okay.
It's not a big tax.
No.
Right. We don't count referrals. We don't count one-on-ones. We don't count side groups. Da-da-da-da-da.
Gotcha.
Right. Because we bring value as we are.
I love that.
And sometimes you might go, the desert might be wide for you for a while.
Sure.
And you not get a referral. But are you coming to meetings? Do people know you?
Right.
Da-da-da.
Right.
So here we go again. Greg Williams would always say this one, if you want me to remember you, make me see you.
Right. Very simple concept, right? Yeah.
Right.
And if you're there every time for the meeting and you bring value to that, and because everybody knows somebody that can, with that many members in your group,
right,
you're going to have a referral for somebody.
You should.
Yep. You would.
I mean, if your reticular activator, another key word that we use, if your reticular activator is working, you're always going to have a conversation with someone that you think of someone else.
Absolutely.
Always. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be Grayslake Pride Softball, who I was involved in that group through the Park District. It could be anything. I could be talking to somebody. I don't care what the topic is you want to throw out to me. I will probably think of somebody that I could refer to you to help enhance that opportunity.
Absolutely.
I happen to know a lot of people.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that people on these groups aren't introverts either.
Oh, that is not true.
Really?
We have some massive introverts. Karen Langle, our physical therapist, massage therapist. Okay. She has Grayslake Massage. Karen is absolutely an introvert. She doesn't want to talk about herself at all.
Interesting.
She's got a very good comfort zone with us because she's been a member for a long time, but we really forced her out of her shell when she was a first member. And we're like, no, you got to get up. You got to get, and you know what? We're giving 30s today, but you got to give a 60. We want to hear about Grayslake Massage. We want to hear you talk about your business. Just don't give me the soft touch. I want the deep muscle.
Right.
Okay? That's what we want. So there's a lot of introverts.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, Eileen Klossner, who owns Savannah Design here in town, wonderful lady. I'm not going to say she's an introvert, but I'm definitely not going to say she's an extrovert.
Right.
But she's got a great embroidery company.
Oh, I was just talking about somebody that needed embroidery.
Yeah, she does embroidery for Grayslake Police, Grayslake Fire, both of the high schools, the Round Lake Fire Department. We tease her because she doesn't like doing hats. Guess what? She does a ton of hats.
I bet you. Yeah, when I think embroidery, the first thing I want are shirts or hats.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So it's a wide variety. Like you talk about bankers, you talk about massage, you talk about what are some other things?
We're taking a quick break just to say hello because everybody knows Nano. And Nano knows real estate. And actually, I believe that's the name of her Instagram page. So if you're looking to buy a home, sell a home, or know somebody in the market for a home, contact Nano from Baird & Warner. She's a Grayslake girl helping out Grayslake people.
Sure.
I know you have a ton of people that are in there.
Yeah. So, it's an interesting question. Your very first one was, is it just one person from every category? Right. Insurance was always and always has been a bit of a tough nut for us. Our insurance people stay a long time. They really do. But when they leave, they leave. And it's like, oh my God, something happened and I'm gone. Okay. So you made a referral to somebody on an umbrella policy and don't you know that I do that? Well, sorry about that.
Right.
Joyce Campbell would have never been upset about that when she was Joyce Campbell State Farm, wonderful lady. Was my insurer for a while. And guess what? I had to break up my relationship with State Farm. Wasn't anything she did. Kind of something that one of the people in her office did. Didn't hold a grudge. Just said, hey, listen, if that's the way things are going down, I got to go.
Right.
She understood.
Right. And Joyce is a woman that.
Yeah. She stayed as a member. But as time went on, she kind of is like, you know what, Jim? I've had my fill.
Right.
I get it, totally get it. So now we have Debbie Solberg up in Lake Villa, Lindenhurst technically, with Farmers Insurance. She does a really nice job selling the personal lines and the business lines and health insurance.
Okay.
We now also have, and this is a good little offlay here, we have an associate membership.
Okay.
That an associate membership pays $50 a quarter. They can come to one Tuesday morning breakfast a quarter,
Okay.
but they can come to any one of our evening events. And we
All right.
try and do 4 evening events a year.
Okay.
So we have Michelle Melton, who's an independent insurance agent. I think her tagline is something like, if you can live in it, wear it, something else, I can insure it. You know,
Clever.
write it, float it, live in it.
Right.
Yeah. I can insure it. But here you go again. I've known Michelle from a couple other networking groups here in Lake County. But I just don't know her that well to know her name, to know her tag.
Right.
But I know Debbie's tag.
Right.
And I refer people to Debbie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which part of being in the group that's huge, because
Right.
it seems like most of the people, well, all of our businesses, anybody that's either self-employed or
Yeah.
looking to get new business, this is a great opportunity to bring like-minded people together.
Yeah. I mean, and you know, Farmers is a good insurance company. They're State Farm, Allstate. They're in that same group. You know, they buy up blocks of insurance. They come into a market. They're going to buy the market, so they're super low. Everybody loves them. Boom, we're buying from Farmers, and then all of a sudden, Farmers says, "Hey, we've got enough homeowner policies with the 2 cars and the boat or the jet ski and the umbrella policy in the Chicagoland market, so rates are going to go up because that's the business."
Okay.
That's their business. That's what they do in that industry. And so then everybody folds back, and then Debbie's just got to sell.
Right.
It's not the easy. It's just not price now. It's on sell.
Right.
It's like, you know, can I give good customer service? Can my people know my client base that I've already signed and brought in? XYZ, close more business, cross-sell more business. I had a really nice referral. I'm listening to this guy one day. Customer of mine calls me. He goes, "Jim, I don't know what happened here, but my insurance company, they dropped me, but I didn't get the notice. They didn't tell me. I've kind of been out there." And I go,
Wow.
"Bob, it's not on the loan. It's not on the building I have a loan on." He goes, "Yeah, it is," and la, la, la. And I'm like, "Okay, well, we need to, do you need help with this? I don't want to force place insurance on you as your lender. You do understand we have the right to do that. And I really don't want to do that, but you're outside your window of coverage. So we're exposed. Call this woman right now. Blah, blah." He goes, "Super duper sorry. I'm with Farmers."
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I'm like, I listened to the whole story. I kind of felt bad for him. I was like, man, what kind of crappy insurance company is this? Ends up being Farmers. I'm like,
Right.
"Hey, sorry, I got to put Debbie's card back in the box. Can't refer her now to
Right.
this guy." But I had other people that I could.
Right.
So, the group is the group. The group comes first.
Right.
But if I can't do it in the group, I go to other people.
Right. So there is loyalty in there to make sure that that's why you're part of a group like this, is to refer the people that you
Right.
know, like, and trust.
Correct. And I mean, in my industry, I would hope that everybody that's in my group would always think of me the first time that they have a neighbor or somebody or a counterpart says, "Hey, I'm looking to buy a multifamily, or I'm looking to buy a mixed-use property, or I'm looking to buy a strip center, blah, blah, blah." They immediately say, "You should call Jim Marshall,"
Right.
which they should.
They should, yes.
Right. The market for those opportunities in a networking group or a referral group like mine tend to be pretty small. That it's not that it's a small market. Those people are super duper cliquey, and they belong to only real estate groups.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like, whoa,
Right.
So again, my desert can get wide sometimes, or long.
Sure.
So, but I don't really care. I still stay involved. I still refer, and it comes back.
Right. And yours is different than, because everybody needs insurance, or everybody needs life insurance. Everybody needs
Right.
these things. So
Right.
those people probably get a lot more referrals than somebody for massage or for
Right.
what you do.
Right.
Other thing. Other members, give me your longest standing member that you have right now.
Is Bruce Friends
Okay.
with K&M Printing. I know Bruce lives in Lake Villa. travels down to Schaumburg occasionally when he has to pick up work or whatever. But Bruce used to be operator of Grand Printing in Mundelein. His partner was a guy by the name of Jim Marshall. Jim was really the sales guy. He had the book of business. Bruce tells a fantastic story, and I wish everybody could listen to Bruce tell his story about when he was in high school. I think it was at Niles North or Niles West, one of those schools down there. Okay, Grew up in Morton Grove. It was definitely not Maine East. So for all you guys, sorry, it wasn't Maine South or Maine East. But he was in a class where they were teaching printing.
Okay.
And then he was in an accident and broke his leg. So he went back to school over the summertime, and he was talking to his teacher, his high school teacher, and they're like, I'm probably not going to be able to go to college because of this accident. Kind of screwed me up in school-wise, and I'm going to blah, 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 whatever. The guy goes, you don't need to go to college. You know how to print. He taught him how to print.
Interesting.
When he was in high school. So he picked up that trade and he ran with it and started his own business. And, he does our printing. He does these Savannah Design cool little notepads. He does our, in a little bit, we're going to talk about a guy by the name of John Warshaw. John passed away. But he would say, good morning, sales team. He called us his sales team.
That's awesome.
It is.
That's respect, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. Veteran Marine, was an IT guy at a big law firm in downtown Chicago, retired, just opened up his own little IT shop, his own little computer shop.
So cool.
It is so cool. But he saw the value of networking. He came to our group. He was a great dude. Lost his battle with cancer. Not much more to be said about that, except we still refer to each other. Good morning, sales team.
Right.
Because of John.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what a legacy to leave behind for him.
Right.
Too.
Absolutely.
And I can see how much of an impact he's had on you. Which is very
He's just a
cool.
great dude. Yeah.
Wow. And these are the relationships that you get to make through this.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah, they're deep. So Bruce, he's good German. Goes back to Germany a couple, 3 times a year. Takes his dad, and likes to drink his beers. But he's just a good-hearted, hard-working guy. He was one of the founders with me.
Wow.
So we're that old.
Hey neighbors, this is Bill Mock with the Grayslake Chamber of Commerce. And if you're looking for a network of hard-working, customer-focused, and generally friendly local businesses who are dedicated to helping each other succeed, then I'd like to invite you to check out and consider joining our Grayslake Chamber. We offer our members so many ways to advance their businesses through social networking events, special event sponsorships, informative lunch and learns, and the ever-popular after-hours mixers. Come see why we say we're the new wave of business here in Lake County.
So we're that old. That's a nice segue.
Right.
Wow. Okay, so it sounds like you guys cover a lot of different things. So printers, and I think by asking the longest one,
Yeah.
I'd like to know more about some other people because I've always
Sure.
been interested in joining it. I just
Sure.
don't know what the hell business I would have going into it.
Right. Here's a very interesting one.
Yes.
People don't think about this in their day-to-day life, but it's a day-to-day industry. Lake's Apothecary is a pharmacy in Mundelein, and they're right across the street from Walgreens.
Really?
And Byron has no problem standing toe-to-toe with those kind of guys.
That's awesome.
He worked in that industry. He got frustrated with that industry. He just wanted to be a better service provider in his community without the nonsense.
Right.
Now, granted, he can't control a lot of the costs that are associated to pharmaceuticals because they're controlled at the other end of the world.
Correct.
Right? But he has a great niche. He will drop your prescription off at your house. He can give you a shot. I got my, what's that not Crohn's. What's that disease that older people get if they've had, where it breaks out, it's a bad rash? Shingles.
Yes.
Yeah. So he and I were talking one day. He goes, Jim, you should get your shingles shot. You're over 50. I'm like, dude, all right, fine. So what happens? I go, here's my insurance. He goes, yep, I got you covered on that. Bing, bing, bing. Came down, got the shot. 2 weeks or whatever, how many days later, got the shot in the other arm. Great, done. Wow. But he can do that. I didn't have to go to my doctor and do that.
Right. And get the personal service.
And get the personal service.
Deal with the runaround of everything.
Yeah, and he's just, again, another great guy. He's building out a small unit next door to him. The company, the woman, I don't know, they closed. So the landlord gave Byron the opportunity to move in. He did. So he's moving some metal shelves, and the metal cuts the palm of his hand. He got an infection, and it almost killed him.
Wow.
But during that process, his doctors found that he has a heart problem. So 2 months later, after they got all the infection done and they got all that blood figured out and all the stuff that was going on, because as the story goes, they couldn't figure out what was wrong with him. And they're like, how'd you get that cut on your hand? Told him. I didn't think anything of it. And they're like, oh, that's where this came from.
Right.
So now, all that's good and behind him. He has open heart surgery, fixes a couple valves, carries around his heart pillow when he comes to meetings.
Interesting.
Tries not to laugh too hard for a little while.
Right.
And he's, again, another great guy. But just something you wouldn't think of. We have Grayslake Rehabilitation, Robin Erker. She's a member, PT. We have, like I mentioned before, Karen Langen, who is massage therapy. And we have Dr. Paul Reisner Rehabilitation over on Washington and 45. He's a chiropractor. He also does acupuncture. The cool thing that I like about, Robin's PT, right, physical therapy. Dr. Paul is chiropractor. Robin believes in a therapy called shockwave therapy.
Right.
Dr. Paul believes in a therapy called low wave therapy or soft therapy.
Right.
Okay. I had a bad back. I have a bad back. I saw Dr. Paul for years, but at one point in time, I was just like, dude, love you, never going to not come to you. We'll always be your patient, but I need to get more than I'm getting. So I went to my doctor, told my doctor what was going on. He said, oh, yeah, no, you stay with your chiropractor. I'm going to refer you to a back surgeon. I said, no one's cutting into my back. He goes, well, no, I didn't say that. And I go, well, then why are you sending me a surgeon?
Exactly.
Right. So went to the surgeon, took some x-rays. He put me on a little plan, did some PT, went to the PT over at Robin's place. It's all worked out. It all came down to the fact that all of the stuff that I had to do because of the insurance that I had, and that they wouldn't let me have the shot to kill the pain in my legs, which was causing where I couldn't walk. And it was painful. But I got the shot, and my doctor goes, because when I first met with him, I told him, he goes, oh, so you're not having good success with your chiropractor. I said, I never said that. Don't say that.
Right.
I do. I just need more. I go, this is worse. So I had sciatica and blah, blah, blah. So I've had this shot now since December. I've been able to get back on the basketball court and work. I've been able to get back on the softball fields and work. So, it's been fine. And the doctor said, these shots usually last for 2 years. It depends on your body and what you do and stuff. But, in 2 years from now, it's going to wear off and you're going to have to come get another one, or where you might have to discuss surgery. He goes, I really don't want to do surgery ever on anybody until they're older and then your body has just totally rejected the shot. Okay, fine. So that might be like when I'm 80 and I don't give an F anyway.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, the surgery's out of the question then.
Yeah.
Like, leave me.
Right. So that's three things. These guys are all interrelated in their field of work, but they're still members of our group.
Right.
And they refer to one another. Maybe not as much as they would like to. And, of course, there's always going to be philosophical difference between a chiropractor and a physical therapist. Don't anybody think there's not. There is. And that's okay.
Right.
But they got their place. And you know what? Inside our group, these three people have figured out how to work together.
Well, that's great.
That's a great thing.
No, that's great.
Yep. And then you got Paul Poulos over there, Supreme Cleaning Company. His dad was a carpet cleaner. He's a carpet cleaner. He does great work. He power washes my house. Paul, he likes doing ornamental rugs, stuff like that. He'll clean your carpet, but he kind of likes doing rugs, a little weird, whatever. And then he's a franchise gas station cleaner.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, he's got a cool little crew of guys, and they work. They go and clean gas stations at night.
Wonderful.
Right.
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 Who would have think?
Right. And his is like total offshot. I didn't think that. What? Clean gas stations?
I love learning about businesses that I didn't even know would exist.
Exactly right.
And who sat down one day and went,
Yeah.
That's what we should do.
Yeah.
You'd probably fall into that somehow.
Right,
sure.
somehow. Like he tells a great story about he was cleaning, he was at a gas station filling up, I don't know, blah, 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 but it was super early in the morning, and some dude that he knows in the industry who owns a company similar to his but has a fleet of vehicles. He goes, what are you doing here getting gas? He goes, I fill all of my vehicles up every morning before my teams get to work so that they don't have to go out and do it. So that when they leave the shop, they go to a job.
Right.
They're not going to a gas station and effing around for 15 or 20 minutes. And I'm
Good
like,
management.
Yeah, I go, Paul, seriously, that's like over micromanaging. He goes, I guess if you know your people, you know your crews, you really just want them on the job working, so you're going to do this other thing for them.
Right.
Okay, that's cool.
Hey, and everybody's got their thing that works for them, right?
Right,
And they know how to make it work.
and that guy got Paul into cleaning gas stations because he goes, I got too many of them, you can have X.
Unbelievable.
Right.
Right.
So guys from the same industry helping one another, which is super cool.
Love it.
Bill McNeil, this is a weird one. I'm going to admit it. He works for Comcast.
Okay.
Comcast Business. So he's helping people with their phone systems. But you wouldn't think that Bill, who is a tremendous IT guy, he takes care of some of our I don't know, social media pages or whatever the heck we have. He does that for us, and he comes to our meetings when he can because he had got a new regional director person, and they moved the meetings from Thursday to Tuesday, so now he can't really come. But he comes every once in a while.
Right.
But he's a valuable amount of information, and I think he's helped 100% of the members in our group with their home Comcast.
Most people have no idea what to do with their aging loved one who needs help. Well, there is a solution. A company that provides care and assistance to make your loved one feel right at home. At Right at Home, their mission statement is to improve the quality of life for those they serve. They offer extensive services: personal and companion care, safety supervision and transportation, fall prevention, dressing and bathing assistance, medical reminders, meal prep, hospice support, ambulation support, stroke recovery, Parkinson's support. The list goes on and on and on. If you have an aging loved one that needs help, call Right at Home. Most people prefer to age in their home rather than moving to an assisted living or nursing home. Right at Home can make this happen. Contact Right at Home at rightathomenlc.com or give them a call, 847-984-0103. Now back to the show.
Yeah, lowering costs, getting more efficient service, all these things. So again, he found a niche.
Right.
He found a niche.
And something that everybody needs.
Yes, something that everybody needs. And then, of course, the CPA. Dave Leganger, one of our founding members with me, he was in downtown Grayslake. He was a customer of mine going back several years. When he left American Express, started his own company, he came into the bank, and I just happened to be sitting there working, and having one conversation, and gave him a $50,000 line of credit like that, and it's no big deal. And then he ended up buying 146, 148 Center Street.
I used to rent from him.
Yep, you did. That's right. And so we gave him the money to purchase, and then we gave him the money to do a construction loan because he had to knock that thing out. He basically split the building in two, so it's got its own HVAC and AC on each side of the building, and the tenants are in there. And he's got a great group of tenants. Some of them are tenants of ours, members of ours. Some of them are not. So it's just been a good, a good relationship for a long time. He's moved up north, so he lives up in Wisconsin, but he still has his practice here. So Michelle, she still kind of like is the office manager and runs it here. But he opened up. He goes, I shouldn't be a member of the group anymore. So he opened it up. We had Carla Blanchett, and then Carla left because her and her husband moved down to Tennessee. And we now have Angela Bruce, who has her own accounting firm by the name of By the Book Accounting and Bookkeeping. She's a Microsoft. I think it's Microsoft. No, it's not. It's one of those whatever software programs. She's an expert. She's been a member for about a year or so. Absolute introvert.
Really?
Getting her out of her shell.
Good.
Beating her a little bit. This is how we talk.
Right.
Kind of thing.
And part of breaking everybody out, and without that, you can encourage her like that.
Right. Brad Matheson lives here in Grayslake. And I should have taken a step back. Of the first group of people that I mentioned, none of them live here in Grayslake. But they live in like Lake Villa and Lindenhurst, and they live around us. Okay. Brad Matheson, who owns Lock Merchant Rates, he provides credit card merchant services. Okay. He's an independent guy, so he works with over 300 service providers. I don't care what anybody says out there and that's listening to this, he will have the lowest rate.
Really?
Yeah. He will have the lowest rate. He will beat, a lot of the there's networks in certain groups of people.
Yes.
And they tend to always say that they have the lowest.
Right. Well, they all have the lowest rates.
Brad's got the lowest rates.
Right.
Flat out.
And especially these days with anybody doing business anywhere, that is an important thing. And I think people do it if they take a good look at it. Because they're doing a lot of things out of convenience and don't understand how much money they're probably losing or just handing over.
Yeah, right.
So, good guy to know.
Absolutely. And when you get a 15-page contract, guess what? There's words on those 15 pages.
Haven't read a whole lot of those.
Right. The next guy's really super interesting. Mike McCarthy. He owns a company called Chaos Removal. He'll come into your house and he'll get rid of 30 years of boxes of stuff.
Really?
That you may not want to have to deal with because it's your mom and dad's stuff, and mom and dad have become deceased, and you've got a house, and what are you going to do with it? Or there was some planning involved, and you refer Mike to your mom and dad so that he can talk to them, and they can create a plan on what do we want to keep? What do we want to get rid of? Do you want to sell stuff or you want to pitch stuff? It's a process. It's a program, just like anything else. But he helps people with the chaos that they've created in their own lives.
I didn't even know anything like that existed.
Yeah.
It's a great business.
It's a great business. And he's a great dude. He's a baseball umpire.
Even like him more now.
He's a really super good guy. Yeah.
Very cool.
And then, so one of our associate members is Ron Jackson. He is a mortgage lender for North Shore Trust and Savings. They have an office up in Lindenhurst. He actually lives in Twin Lakes, Wisconsin. One thing that Ron and I connect with a lot, we're both shooters, hunters. We're upland game hunters. So pheasant, quail, all that good stuff, partridge, we like to go do that. I've got other buddies that I shoot with that, they're foul. They like ducks and geese. I don't like ducks and geese. I'm not good enough to shoot ducks. They're too fast. And I don't like eating goose that much to actually go do it. Okay? Because my guy Joe, who does, I'll just eat his. Right. But Ron's got North Shore, about 6 months ago, went out and purchased a mortgage company called Oak Mortgage. Okay. So they've done some remarketing, so now it's Oak Mortgage powered by North Shore Bank and Trust. Okay. North Shore is a old school, very small, family-owned bank over in Waukegan. They don't lend to anyone except in the residential space. So they do, when Ron came over to them, they did create a home equity loan product, so they have that. But they don't do car loans, they don't do commercial loans, that kind of stuff. So that has become a resource for me because I get some of those loans referrals from them, which is cool.
Right.
Yeah. Now, and I'll refer to them like if I get a 4-unit, which is technically a 30-year mortgage product, it could qualify in that. I'll refer them to Ron. It just helps the give and take. And my mortgage guy at the bank that I work for, he understands that. Right. And he's like, Jim, I'm kind of busy. Whatever. I go, Mike, I can just refer to Ron. No big deal. But I always make sure that, and excuse me for the people who think this is rude, I don't pee in my own Wheaties.
Right.
I'm always going to make sure that Mike wants the deal. Mike's going to get the deal. But if Mike says no, then I'm going to give it to Ron.
Right.
Because it's an easy handoff, and I know they're going to get the deal done.
Right.
That's what matters, getting the deal done. Our funnest person, I got to tell, I mean, nobody's going to take offense to this when I say this. The funnest person in our group is Barb Newt.
I love Barb.
Yeah. She's Compass Realty. She is great at what she does. She has a little secondary business because she owns some properties herself because she's smart. She can figure out how to do that. But she's really about helping people find the right home for themselves based on the information that they gave her. Not just any old home, but the home that they say that they want. Ta-da.
I like you say it like that.
Yeah. What a concept.
Right.
What a concept.
Yeah, listening to them rather than doing what serves your purposes the best.
Right. Hey, you know what? It's just easier for me to put you in this house because I can sell it super duper fast.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
I've always been very impressed by Barb and her whole team over there. They run a really
She runs a great shop, without a doubt. And I would tell everybody, I've had both of my daughters do it, and they're not even looking to buy. They're looking to rent. She can help both of them because her daughter is a rental specialist instead of a purchasing or selling professional. She's a renter agent, but especially for young people in a first-time home opportunity or even a second home opportunity. Because guess what? You think you know everything because you bought one house. That ain't the truth. That is not the truth. But she'll sit down, like in my field in banking, we used to call it the clock. I sell by the motion of a clock. Mm-hmm. Okay, start at 12 and I want to be done by 11:55 and I'm going to close you 3 times in that hour.
Right.
Because I'm going to ask you specific pointed questions. And I'm going to find out when I can stop selling because based on the information you've given me today, Dave, if I can show you how we can fix all these problems, what's preventing you from doing business with me today?
Right.
Right. Yeah. It's an old school about banking. She kind of does the same thing with a list of your who, what, whys, and wheres, and important. And it's a really cool demonstration. I've seen her do it a couple of times. It makes home buying super easy, but opens up your brain about what it really takes to buy and then own a home after you buy it. So it's a pretty cool presentation she gives.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I like she's doing and she's extremely personal.
Yeah. I used to do a radio show with her husband, Patrick. And I knew Barb before, but it was called On the Bump. Kent Jones, 21.6 The Net is the radio station. Well, it's internet radio, but it's out in McHenry. When Kent and I were first talking about what he was doing, because he's a recovering banker. Okay. And went and did that. And then I said, man, I would love to be able to do like a sports talk show. And he goes, anytime. Pick it out. Well, then I got some education and what it really takes to do that. And I'm like, holy crap, there's a lot involved. He goes, yeah, there's a lot involved. Absolutely. Right. So it was fun to learn, but that's how I got to meet Pat and Patrick. And then Patrick created a company called baseballmapper.com.
I've talked to them about that, and how cool is that?
How cool is that? Yes.
Yeah, he's a really good guy.
Yeah. Yep, yeah. He is. Super cool guy. Bellevue Studios.
Yeah.
The Cashmores, Kristen Cashmore. Straight up home, family, and small business photographer. I love the way that she talks about what she does and why she loves doing it the way she does it versus just being a canned photographer.
Right.
She also really gets along well with the guys over at at Image Photo or whatever. That they have the contract with the high schools. Okay, great, but she still does work at the high schools.
And you know what? The way she speaks about that, there is no cutthroat or anything. She loves what she does, and she takes it, and it's just no malicious activity.
No malicious intent whatsoever.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, and it helps that she's got, good family people around her and things like that support her and does all the good things. She's got a studio right down on Center Street. You can walk right by and take a look in the picture window and test her work out before you talk to her.
Exactly.
Laura Lee Holliday is our mortgage specialist. She's with Caliber Home Mortgage. She actually rents space from Barb Newt on Lake Street. She was over at in the building, the 2-3-story building where the Barbecue Productions is.
Yeah.
She used to be in that building for quite a long time and has recently, through some machinations in the business, moved over to Barb. And it has helped Laura Lee because Barb, customer walks in, all of her people know, sit them down with Laura Lee, and let's get the process started to qualify you.
Right.
So it's one hand washing the other kind of thing. Talked about Brad. Oh, here we go. Amber DeSalis. Okay. She's a lawyer here in town. She's with Churchill, Quinn, Hamilton, and Von Dressler. She took over for Leo Delaney. Leo Delaney was one of our founders with me, and I was introduced to Leo because I walked into Churchill one day just before we bought our house. My wife and I were renting over in Wildwood, but we're working in town here, so I walked in, told him what I wanted. I didn't have an attorney, so I'm soliciting your firm. They introduced me to Leo. So apparently that's how much they think of me. But Leo and I have had a great relationship for 30 years, and it hasn't been a bad time. And he finally retired, and Amber came in. Nice. She specializes in wills and trusts primarily, but she can do some other things, but she really likes doing that. She's an attorney who does wills and trusts, but she gets assigned by the Lake County Court to do child endangerment cases where she's an observer as a lawyer. Yeah. So I'm not sure how any of it works. She tells really good stories.
I'm sure.
Here's another introvert. When she first became a member, she was talking about how her clients made her cry. So then we just decided, well, then if you come to a meeting and tell us that a client didn't make you cry, and we'll make you cry to make you feel comfortable with us.
I'm sure you guys are very nice about that.
Yeah, right. We try our best. Michelle Melton, who I had mentioned before, she's with Archaeus Group Insurance. They're an independent agency. And I talked about Bruce. Sorry, everybody, I'm going through my little catalog of members. I don't want to miss anybody.
No, I find it very interesting how diverse it is, how many different things, already things that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah. Well, this is one that's kind of interesting. Mark Mundo. Mark owns Mundo CRM. Take a guess. Unless you already know Mark.
I know a little bit about it.
Okay, all right.
That's it.
CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. So he sells customer relationship management software and programs. And he always tells everybody he has an office in Grayslake and in the UK. Sets him apart, for sure.
Exactly.
He gets to work with the Tower of London is a client.
Unbelievable.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so he's got some good credentials.
Yeah. And it's interesting what he does. I've tried to get my bank to use him. We have a program I'm not real thrilled about. Nobody is. It's kind of archaic, whatever. It's what the boss uses, so we use it. But I've had Mark talk to them, and hopefully something comes of it someday. Right. Just not going to, it's not going to happen right away because we don't move very fast in our world. But that is the way it is. Tom Gottfried is our new IT guy.
Okay.
He took over after John Warshall had passed away. All kinds of personal IT, small business IT, laptops, small user. I think he it's like 5 computer max, I think, is what he likes to do, but he could probably do bigger. He's always interesting to talk to. His IT guys kind of talk in a in a roundabout way about everything. I think they're just continually streaming through a computer system as they talk at all times.
Right.
If you get my drift.
I totally know what you mean. I know a lot of IT guys.
Yeah, they're not bad people. They just
No.
they have a different way to communicate, so that's fine. One of the best. Oh, I gotta talk about this. Agora right here.
Yeah.
They're members. They were full-time members. They have kind of taken it all in for what it's worth, and are associate members. But the one good thing is we do a little trade-off with them. We will have events here occasionally at their location, and it works out. It works out. So they're good people to have.
Yeah, like last week. When it
Thursday
rained.
night, yeah, we had a great event. We were supposed to do it at Barb's office downtown,
Right.
and it rained, and people said, we got to go to Plan B.
Right. Move over.
And it was
Just
a
like
phone
that.
call, and it was done. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
that
it
was
worked
pretty
out
cool.
great.
I feel terrible. I hope I am not missing anyone. Debbie Borsick is with Accurate Car. They're in Lake Bluff. She lives here in town. Automobile fixer-upper person. Does good work. She's worked on my car, my girl or my daughter's boyfriend's car, but it was a good referral.
Right.
I don't get in accidents. So I don't need people like that.
So what kind of people, as we'll make sure that we have everything. So someone listening to this that runs a small business or has a business around here that wants to get into a great referral group that seems to be different than a BNI, not saying bad about any other referral group.
Yep.
Because I've been in a lot of different referral groups over the time. So whether it was my lack of commitment to be in them or whatever, but it seems like you guys bring a different flavor to things and a really tight-knit group. So what kind of businesses are you guys looking for? Are you guys still open to, is there enrollment still available? I know you'd like to keep it smaller, but are you still accepting applications?
We are always accepting applications. If you're a member of our group, your job is to grow the group.
Okay.
Flat out.
It's too bad I don't know anybody because I might be I could bring some value to some stuff.
Right. So we do have an application process. We have a membership committee. We invite anyone to come and visit our group 2 times. We'll pay for your breakfast. At 2 times, we get to know you a little bit. You get to know us a little bit. You get to see how we work inside the group.
I love that.
If you choose not to fill out the application, that's totally fine.
Right.
They sign
Well,
on.
you guys only want people that are going to work. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, if it's not a good fit, it's not a good fit.
Right. And, I tell this to everybody. There are people who we will not let in our group.
Right.
Flat out.
Hence the reason I'm not in the group.
Nope, you would be invited to join. But there are people who we know
Sure.
they're not welcome.
Right.
I hate to be like that, but
Well,
it is what it is.
No, but it serves the group, and somebody has to protect it at the same time.
Right.
Because referral groups, I think the things that I've seen people succeed in and seen people not, it's kind of like life. It's the more that you're willing to give out. If you're there for selfish reasons, it's not going to work for you.
Right.
If you're there to help others, it always comes back.
Correct. And we have good relationships with people who used to be in our group who are no longer in our group. Sure. Perfect example is Jane Roth. She is a dryer vent wizard. Who would think that that's something you could do?
Right. Especially a wizard of it.
Right. She joined our group. She got in contact with like Barb.
Yeah.
Okay. I do multifamily, so I got a bunch of people who do multifamily or whatever. So landlord type people. And she admitted, she goes, I can no longer be in the group because I grew too fast because of the amount of referrals I was getting from your group.
That's an awesome reason to stop the group, too.
She grew too fast. Right. Now,
Correct.
Jane's a great person.
Right.
Totally great person. I get it. She does not have to work full-time if she does not want to work full-time. But she got to the maximum capacity of what she felt she could do to run her business the right way. And she found the source of her discontent, and it was us because we gave her too much business.
A terrible thing to have.
Terrible thing to happen.
What a great position to be in, too.
Right.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah, Steve, I cannot believe that his last name just ran off.
Well, it happens when you're trying to think of it. Stop thinking about it, and then you remember.
Right. He was a member of our group. He does marketing. Sparks Marketing. As soon as I walk out of here, Steve's last name is going to come back to me. But Steve comes back to our meetings every once in a while. He'll just pop in. Hey, how's it going? We still refer. I know people refer business to him to this day. But again, he's kind of bigger, although he doesn't have a shop. None of his employees come to his office.
Nice.
He's out there. He has a partner. I think she's in Copenhagen or something like that.
Really?
Yeah. So they do some international stuff, and it's pretty cool. But when he was in our group, just listening to him talk about marketing and the different concepts of what going about it and the tracking of information that they give to their clients to help improve, because, hey, you said you wanted X. Are we giving you X, or are we giving you a bunch of Y?
Right.
Let's stay on track with X. So that's a great thing to be able to do that. Yeah. So I know I just had a really long answer to your question.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of open spots. We would love to get people from the trades. We have 2 people who are interested who are from the trades. Home improvement specialty guys. Their excuse all the time. I'm on the job at 7 o'clock every day.
Sure.
Right. Okay. Right. Are you telling me that at 52 weeks out of the year you're on the job at 7 o'clock?
Right.
Could you not do $50 and then on a Tuesday when you're not, you could just come as an associate member and then come to our evening events?
Sure.
Or how about send your office manager here?
There you go.
Right. We like you. We don't technically need to see you. Okay. We want to be familiar with you, so come once a month or come once a year.
Right.
But you send your office manager. Kevin Runyon, who ran an office equipment business here in town, he moved to Florida, opened up the second arm of his company there. His daughter-in-law, no, not his daughter-in-law, his niece runs it now over at 888 Belvedere. That's what they do. Kevin's like, I'll always be a member. You guys are fantastic. You helped me grow. A lot of you guys are my customers, blah, 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 blah. Boom. He pays for her to be an associate member so she can come to a meeting once a month.
That's
or once
great.
a quarter.
That's great.
Yeah, and she's like, I hate to admit it because I really like her. She's kind of clueless about the way it works.
Right.
Because they've got a good business. It just kind of rolls. People repetitively buy their product over and over and over and over again. So she doesn't think about having to go out and network and get more business. Or just putting the name out there so somebody else can give you a referral.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, that's what we are. We are a referral group.
And it's cool to see the people you have in the Tuesdays that, I always think of the objections of why people aren't in these groups, or that maybe they have a bad taste or something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I like that you can come twice
Mm-hmm.
and just figure out what it's about.
Right.
I think that's fantastic. So who do they call? Who does somebody listening here, who do they call? How do they get a hold of you?
So if you come to a meeting, again, upstairs at Whitney Street, 7:30 every Tuesday.
All
There
right.
are some times we don't meet the week before or after a holiday, XYZ,
Right.
like the 4th of July. We have a membership group. Debbie Borsick is part of membership. Kristen Cashmore is part of membership. And Karen Langle is part of membership. But when you come as a guest, we're going to give you all the stuff anyway.
Right.
But if you wanted to call someone right now, call me, Jim Marshall, 312-343-7310. And I can get you hooked up and get you headed in the right direction.
Good. I think a lot of people, especially in these groups like this too, that even going in that, I'm obviously an extrovert, but coming by yourself, like it's nice if you came with another member or something, just so you feel comfortable the first time.
Right.
And especially I know if they called you that you would meet them and walk them in and introduce them to people so they didn't feel uncomfortable.
Right.
So I think that's the first step.
Right. It is, and we talk to membership we talk to our members all the time about, hey guys, just bring a guest next week.
Right.
Summer, we figured this thing out. Summer is always lower attendance than other times of the year because people are busier in the summertime. Family, kids are home from school, vacations, la la la. So membership dips a little bit. Again, we don't panic over it. We know trends.
Right.
So if you're going to be around, bring a guest. Right. Keep the numbers of people attending our meetings up.
Right.
And that's all a really good thing.
Right.
Really good thing.
It's a great concept to see that people come in, and obviously if they're unselfish to go in, that everybody's there to help everybody.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
especially small business.
Adam Solano, Lakeside Financial, he did the same thing with Chad Noyes. Chad was not a part of Lakeside Financial, but they knew one another. and Adam offered an office to Chad for his practice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what the timing frame is or whatever. Chad ended up joining Lakeside Financial. They now share coming to the meetings. Instead of they were both coming because Chad kind of had his own thing and Adam had his thing, to now where Chad is part of Lakeside Financial, so they job share attending meetings. Those guys are great because they have a great network with Amber DeSellis, a lawyer who they set up. They're doing financial planning. They do financial investing.
Right.
They have a great lawyer who likes to do that kind of stuff, wills, trusts, and et cetera. So it just makes all kinds of sense, that they would be there and work together. The most eclectic member of our group. You haven't asked about it, like who's the weirdest weirdo?
Yeah, well, I didn't want to go there. I figured that you would probably bring that one up.
Right. And I'm not saying that this person is the weirdo. I'm just saying, but as membership goes for networking or referral groups,
right.
Michelle Bauman.
Love Michelle.
Avon Township Supervisor. I'm not sure how we got talking one day, but we got talking one day. And I know that we don't want to keep this about politics, so I'll just make it really quick. She was running for Avon Township Supervisor, and a person introduced the two of us because he thought that it would be good for me to know her, potentially support her in this venture. And I said, listen, if you're going to run with the intent of getting rid of the township, I will support you. If you run with the intent of becoming a long-time political advocate for a township, I will not support you. We do not need township government. As you state, the township is the purpose of the township. We don't need it. There may be some sectors of Lake County that need it. Lake County as itself does not need 19 townships.
It's a lot of townships.
It's a lot of townships. I don't care. Right. That being said, we shared our philosophies. I invited her to the group. She comes. We are a tremendous tool to her. We really are.
Yeah.
We are a tremendous tool. She admits it all the time. She had an issue. She didn't know how to do it. She came to the group. She used her 60 seconds, which we ended up giving her more time. She said, can I just ask you guys for your professional advice on something? Awesome. Without detailing people or anything, she detailed the situation. And here's 5 things. Do these in kind of pretty much chronological order in your meeting and da-da-da, and handle it like this. Boom, boom, boom. And it'll work. But if you go off and do what you kind of did when you first presented this thing, that's going to be a cluster, and you're going to be in trouble. So she tells us all the time what a great resource we are. We do a thing every meeting called Pocket Change. So
yes, I was going to ask you about that because this is very cool.
Yeah, so have a Folgers coffee can, and we pass it around. And if you have change in your pocket, dump it in the can. If you don't, you don't. We don't care. Yeah. But we collect the money, put it in the bank account, and at the kind of the end of the third-ish quarter, we say, hey, is there a group in the community, in Central Lake County, that we want to help? Everybody, we come up with a lot of different groups. In the beginning, it was, hey, one group a year, whatever was in the pocket change can, plus the group will match. So we give, some years we've given like $1,500. Right. It's about $1,200 on average. Then we did go through a period of time where people are like, oh, we should go too, and we should spread it around. And I'm like, no, $1,500 is not a lot of money. But $1,500 to some organization can be a big impact.
Of course. And if I'm correct, I think when we were doing the bachelor auction for the family, I believe that you guys donated to that to help that family with the...
We did. And we're currently in discussions amongst ourselves as a group if we want to wait till the end of the year or if we want to make a little donation now since we're at mid-year, give them a donation and then finish it up with another donation at the end of the year.
Which is a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
It's just a nice way to give back, and it's kind of fun to be able to, because that money goes a long way for people in need.
Right. And Adam Solano was although he does Lakeside Financial, he helps people finance for their retirement. He was an English major at St. John's University up in Minnesota, and he's a really good writer. Mm-hmm. And so he does a nice little piece for us every year about who we're donating, who that company is. We invite them in, get a picture, put it in the Daily Herald every year. So it's just a cool additional advertisement, and then we put it up on our Facebook page and all that good fun stuff.
Yeah.
So again, you have to be able to articulate who you are and why you are, right, and what helps you, get up every day. And that's why we do business ed, part of our meeting. It's only supposed to be 3 minutes. It's probably 5 minutes most of the time.
I was going to say.
People don't really care. But if you bring something of good value to business ed, to the people that are in the group,
sure,
you're going to learn something along the way. We talk a lot. Chad Noyes did business ed, and he talked about a book that he read. And I didn't bring my phone in with me because I don't bring phones with me in meetings, but it's a book about how to say more with less. It's the new corporate speak thing in America apparently today. I did not know this, but we're going back to bullet points, everybody, and
right,
we're sticking to bullet points. And your sentence in your bullet point needs to be less than 15 words.
Interesting.
Yeah, bing, 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 bing.
But those are the kind of things that are in business ed.
Right, and that's the kind of stuff we talk about. We always have. I could do business ed almost every week because I'm kind of weird like that. Right. When I was doing my master's, I used Mind Tools. It's a company out of London, business psychology. So I refer to them all the time. I would tell anybody out there, think about it. Just go on their website, take a look at it. If you want to become a subscriber to their newsletter or whatever, you're going to find some incredibly interesting stuff.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what biz ed is all about. We talk about business plans. When do you read a business plan? Most people have a business plan, they don't even read it.
Right.
I'm like, dudes, I'm a banker. I can fish you out in the first 5 minutes if you wrote your business plan or not. Now, I don't mind if you go to your CPA and get help with the financial stuff, the projection stuff. You should do that.
Right.
Because I'm not expecting any entrepreneur, business owner, small business guy to understand that side.
Right.
Okay? They might have a good accounting background or whatever, and they probably could do it. But most of them don't. They like making widgets, for Christ's sake.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, do what you're good at, and then have other people do the other stuff.
Right.
Right.
But I tell people, you need to read your business. So when you start your business, you read your business plan every 30 days when you're balancing your checkbook. You're reconciling your checkbook. You read your business plan every month for the first 3 years. People are like, you are insane. I'm like, listen, dude, you wrote that business plan for a purpose because that is what you truly believe that you were going to do to run your business by this plan.
Right.
You didn't write a business plan to then go off in the other direction and do something totally different than what's in your business plan.
Right. Keep you between the lines.
Right. And then once you've been there 3 years, from year 3 to year 6, you can read it once a quarter.
Interesting.
And then once you're and because you're modifying,
right?
You might be a great widget salesman and you might sell 6 or manufacture 6 different widgets. Well, in your projections, if widget number 2 is your highest cost piece of widget that you sell, but you sell the least amount of it, is it worth having that arrow in your quiver?
Correct.
Now, some people say, I cannot live without widget number 2 because it is such a cool widget.
Right.
Okay, so what are you going to do to make widget number 2 more attractive to sell more of it?
Right. So you have to adapt as you go on.
Yeah.
But if you don't keep on reading it back.
Yeah, because you could have gone over and all of a sudden there is widget A. Remember, you're selling widget 1 through 6, but there's a widget A that you weren't familiar with and you learned how to make it, but you've been selling the crap out of it, but it's not part of your plan. Right. Well, guess what? You better rewrite your business plan and get widget A in there too.
Right.
As a side product that you sell.
Wow.
And if you're not thinking about that, what good is that business plan?
No, and I think a lot of people get caught up in their day-to-day stuff that
Yeah.
they don't refocus like that.
Right.
And it's good sometimes just to recenter,
Yeah.
look at it,
Yeah.
and if you do it as often as you say, it makes sense.
Right.
But it's a pain in the ass to do.
Yeah.
But you have to do it like that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, a lot of people think, hey, I just did a business plan because of the SBA. If I'm going to go get a loan, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a minority, I'm a female-owned business. I write a business plan, they're going to lend me money.
Right. You're doing it for the wrong reason like that.
Right. The SBA, just so everybody knows, is not just to give you money. It's to fill a gap of a collateral shortfall. You still have to qualify at the bank. The bank has to put you through their underwriting, and you have to qualify on every metric except for the collateral piece. If you have a shortfall in the collateral, we go to the SBA, we say, here's an applicant, here's our policy, this is what we did, we want to do this loan, but we have a collateral shortfall, we need your guarantee. That's what the SBA is for. Then, the bank is still on the hook to collect all those payments from that business owner. And if the business owner goes out of business, then the bank has to liquidate that business and sell all of the assets to recoup our money. Well, at the end of the day, if there is, let's just say, for example, $25,000 left after I have liquidated every asset and taken every piece of retirement money I can put my hands on, you still owe me $25,000. Then we go to the SBA and say, hey, we would like to get your guarantee, pay us back. Well, it's only still 75%. And in some cases, some loan programs, it's only 50%. So that 25, we're still losing some money. Right? And on top of that, there's a paragraph H. Paragraph H says that the SBA says, oh, bank, sorry, you didn't do enough due diligence. You didn't project far enough out into the future to see that this guy was gonna fail. So we're not going to give you our guarantee.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So don't think that your business plan is getting you crap.
Right.
Right. It's to guide you to owning and running your business.
It's a recenter.
Yeah.
Get
Exactly. Yeah.
Because of time here.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, you're fine. So I would encourage anybody that's interested in your small business, medium business, whatever, to check out the Breakfast Group. It sounds like it's a very valuable asset.
I hope so. Thank you.
And you only get what you put in. So
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're going to go in, make sure you're 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. Or hey, feel us out.
Yeah.
But know your exit strategy.
Right.
You're in for a quarter, right?
Right.
So if it doesn't really work in 90 days, don't feel bad. It's a $125 investment. Didn't work out for me. I'm going to go.
The cheapest thing you can possibly do.
Right. Know, like, and trust people.
Right.
You know.
Thank you. And Jim, thank you for spending time with me.
I appreciate it. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, my gosh.
Let's do this again.
Yes. No, actually, the next one's going to be about Jim Marshall. maybe we'll do that one.
Maybe a little bit about that, yeah.
We'll come back because there's a lot of really fun stuff that you do.
Yeah, thank you.
And I know we share a lot of friends, too.
I appreciate that.
It'd be good stuff. So, Grayslake, hey, thank you very much for listening. No matter where you guys are at, whether you're on Spotify, whether you're on Apple, whether you're on YouTube, wherever the heck you're listening, make sure to subscribe because this podcast is to create community. And just like these business groups do, that if you know, like, and trust the people you're listening to, I think it's a good way to find out more about people. So, as I always end too, folks, we never know what anybody else is going through. So make sure to be kind. Do one random act of kindness because we never know what anybody else is going through. And maybe as somebody else brought up too, maybe get up today, tomorrow, and just send a text to somebody and reach out and make sure that we're okay. We all need to take care of each other. So, Grayslake, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next Tuesday.